Well, they call it Sooner Magic, and it was born on a cold, windy day in Lincoln, Nebraska, back in the year 1976. Long time ago. Sooner Magic has been a moniker that's been around for quite some time. And I'm here to tell you that it was alive and well in Auburn, Alabama on Saturday. OU looked dead to rights. They looked beat. Nothing was going right. Nothing was going well offensively. They couldn't get anything going. And then they hit on a big pass play down the field. OU finally hits on a big pass play down the field. Michael Hawkins to J.J. Hester. And you guys know the rest. I don't need you to run this thing down the morning after. But just Sooner Magic alive and well in Auburn, Alabama. What a game on Saturday. I just now got back. It's Saturday at 10:30 a.m. if you're not watching this live. I just got back from the airport, and I still got goosebumps from that game yesterday. I mean, that win, man, it's massive. There's probably better words to use for how important and how big that win was for this team, that head coach, and this program. That was a game you had to have. You had to have that game, or we're facing some hard realities and having some difficult conversations on this Sunday afternoon if OU doesn't get that win. But all of a sudden now, you still won on the road. You get your first SEC win. You win an SEC game on the road in front of a hostile environment. Now you're sitting here at 4-1 going into the bye week. I'm not telling you that it's perfect. I'm not telling you that this team is destined to go to the 12-team playoff, but it's a heck of a lot better than what it looked like it was going to be with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Insane. Absolutely insane. And I've been very fortunate in my life to go to a lot of OU football games, both home and away and everything. Very, very blessed in that regard. Very few times. I don't know if I've ever been to a game where it felt like all hope was lost in the OU section yesterday. I mean, look, you can be the most loyal fan. You can be the most positive fan. You're down 21-10 in the fourth quarter. I'm just telling you, there wasn't a whole lot of belief at that time that something like that was going to happen, and it did. It did. Massive, massive win for this team. Huge win for this program. Sooner freaking Magic. Yes, it is alive and well in the SEC. And speaking of Sooner Magic, let me see if I can find it here, actually. So this is Bomani Jones. He is a Texas fan. He's done some broadcasting nationally when it comes to sports. Here's from a Texas fan. To the SEC, they call it Sooner Magic, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world, I swear. So they know. They know. But, man, what an atmosphere, what a day, really cool environment. Jordan-Hare Stadium, great. Auburn fans, great. Tailgating, elite. It was just a great day. And here's the deal, guys. You got your quarterback now. As if there was any doubt about that going into the game. You knew who the starter was going to be, but it didn't look good offensively. You had a great first drive where Michael Hawkins runs for a touchdown. But, man, you really just couldn't get anything going. And at times, even when you got something, we got to bring it back because of a penalty, right? Hit Bauer sharp over the middle for a big play, but there's a penalty. Essentially, Jake Roberts on a pick play, got to bring it back. First and goal from the 2, you can't punch it in, but you get a touchdown pass on third down, bring it back because there was an illegal shift on that play. But none of that matters. Like, I got 2 weeks. We've got 2 weeks to talk about what needs to be better moving forward. And there are certainly things that need to be better moving forward, especially on the offense. But at least for like last night and even to today, like you got a huge road win in the SEC and you're 4-1. And I think that you've got some hope now because you have found your quarterback. You know who your quarterback is moving forward. Just a great win, man. And look, I know that, people say, oh, that program has great culture. Oh, that program has bad culture. Like, that's an overused thing, right? Everyone either has amazing culture or terrible culture. Everyone says culture, 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 culture. But I just don't think that you win yesterday unless you have great belief, you have great culture, like all the things that a high-level program needs. I just don't think you rally like that unless you have those things that we talk about all the time. So, look, like, it's the defense that had the play of the day, but it's the offense that got the momentum going. So when you needed to finally play complementary football, give credit to both sides because both sides were able to play well in the fourth quarter. It just wasn't one side or the other. The offense makes the big play for the touchdown. Defense, of course, gets the pick six as well. And it kind of felt like shades of, we're using Sooner magic here, but when you see a number 10 linebacker running with the football after a pick to regain the lead in the fourth quarter, did anyone else think Torrance Marshall, College Station, Texas in 2000? I'm not saying that play is as significant as that one in a national championship year, but as Kip Lewis is running down the sideline in his white number 10 jersey, I'm thinking, golly, this is like shades of College Station, Texas, is it not? Just good, man. What a weekend. Man, what a weekend. And for those of you that were there, you experienced it, but Auburn fans are awesome. Auburn fans are not LSU fans. Auburn fans are not Georgia fans. That's probably going to turn into one of my favorite SEC road trips, I'm going to guess. Just great, fantastic. B. Gerald says, reminds me of the games in the 70s, 80s, early 2000s. Like, just when people think for a second that OU's out of it, nah, Sooner magic comes into play, right? And they were never out of a game in the 70s. They were never out of a game in the 80s. They were never out of a game when Bob Stoops was the head coach, and that just kind of reminds you of that yesterday. I call it Sooner magic. Some fans, like Texas fans, call it incredibly frustrating. Auburn fans experienced Sooner magic yesterday. I can tell you firsthand, they were not fans of it whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly right, because in my era is like the early 2000s. Like yours is the 70s, which is awesome. I wish I could have lived through the 70s. I wish I could have lived through the 80s with this program. But like my era, like I first started watching this program like in the late 90s, so I got that, as a kid, watching the Bob Stoops era, the entirety of it and everything. You never felt like you were out of a game, and that's what last night felt like, You just kept fighting. You kept it close. It didn't look great at 21-10, but you just kept making plays. You got the momentum. You never got it. You never gave it back. And what I'm hoping more than anything is that's one of the big moments of the year. Like, there's always defining moments in a college football season for a team. Some are amazing. Some are terrible, right? I'm hoping that was the defining moment that they can give this offense some confidence and some momentum moving forward. Because if they can just be good on offense, and we saw in the fourth quarter, if they can just be good on offense, this is a really good football team. This is a football team good enough on the road to erase a deficit that was not very favorable. So when the offense can click like it was late in the game, along with that defense, and special teams was really good yesterday, that's a really solid team, man. Just a boomer from Jeremy Hayes. Sooner back to you, sir. Good to hear from you. Nemo, Tyler, I commented on your show last week that even with the loss of the Vols, I feel better with Hawkins going forward. Glad Hawkins proved my hunch true. No death-dealing turnovers. Yeah. Didn't turn the football over, which, there weren't a whole lot of positives from the offense for a long time in that game, but that was the big positive for a while, is the fact that, well, at least you're not turning the ball over right now. Yeah, and that's a good point. I think we all knew coming out of Saturday that, all right, well, he's the best quarterback for this situation. For the situation that OU has offensively right now, he's the better quarterback. Well, I think that's true still today, but after coming out of last night, he's just your best quarterback. He's not the best quarterback just because of the situation. He's just your best quarterback. Michael Hawkins is your best option at QB right now. And there were two things that you needed on Saturday. Two things more than anything. One, you needed to win the game. Check. Two, you needed to have an offensive performance that, you can come out of the game making you feel okay about, make you feel good about, and know for sure, without a doubt, that, all right, we're going to the bye week. We got Texas coming up in 2 weeks. That is our starting quarterback. And you accomplished both of those things. You were able to win a game, a tough game on the road, and you come out of that game knowing for sure who your quarterback is. They're running back in the locker room, and there's OU fans, Michael Hawkins. Everyone knows. Everyone knows who QB1 is right now. And for a true freshman to be the first true freshman ever to have their debut on the road and win that game as a starter, incredible, man. He's got some things to be better at, and he's got some things to learn. I think he'll do that. There were just a lot of moments yesterday that really impressed me with Michael Hawkins. And again, let's remind ourselves of the situation that he was in. As a first-year starter, incredibly hostile environment, he has a makeshift offensive line. He has 5 wide receivers that were out of the game. He has a running game that's pretty much non-existent. He has a tight end position that, let's call it how it is, guys, it overall felt like a net negative yesterday. So he's like, just in itself on the road in the SEC, regardless of what you have around you, that's tough for a true freshman quarterback. And given all the scenarios around him, he was still able to come up with enough big plays to win the game. His stat line, won't blow you away. It wasn't insane. Let me find his actual stat line right here. His actual stat line, 10 of 15 for 161 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And what did he led the team with 69 yards rushing, and he had that 48-yard touchdown. Those aren't numbers that'll just blow you away, but it was good enough. It was efficient enough. And that 0 in the interception column is the most important number of all. He didn't turn the football over. So, look, I'm not going to tell you that Michael Hawkins is going to win the Heisman Trophy at some point in his career, but it was good enough for where it had to be for a true freshman. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Not sure JFA would have been able to do the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I know Michael Hawkins did, though. And his dad's, they're crying in the end zone. It was just great. It was an unbelievable day. I actually saw some good blocking up front. Gives me hope moving forward. It was better than what it was. It's still a makeshift offensive line. There are still times when you have offensive linemen completely whiff. But was it better? Yeah, willing to say it's better. And hopefully it can get a lot better in 2 weeks when you're in Dallas. Larry says 1974 OU Missouri, the Joe Washington. Go, Joe, go game. Absolutely. Joe Washington, one of the nicest and best human beings on earth. Punt return the next week, we go to Nebraska and win the Big 12. Sooner Magic is real. Sooner Magic is real. Auburn fans felt it firsthand yesterday. They did not like it. Chief says good win, but not a good game. You know what? And if you missed it, Chief, I'll say what I said a few minutes ago. I got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks to really break down what needs to be better. But I just don't foresee myself very many times in this conference really harping on the negatives with a road win in the SEC. But for the first 3 quarters of the game, outside that opening drive, it was not great offensively. Like, they've got to figure some things out for sure. But let's at least for right now give this team credit for having a crack for performance offensively for the first 3 quarters. And, even the defense, the defense clearly made the play of the year up to this point, but it's not like the defense that we've kind of come to expect. They were even giving up some big chunk plays in the run game at times and some big pass plays down the field. That wasn't the best version of the OU defense. Now, I do think it's fair to point out that it's incredibly tough to play consistent great defense when your offense isn't really helping you out. But that wasn't a total team performance for the first 3 quarters, the exact opposite. But I'm going to give this team credit for figuring out a way to rally around and win that football game. Now, that's where I'm at on this Sunday. And yeah, this team ain't perfect. This team's got a long ways to go, especially on the offensive side. But I'm just hoping that moment, that Sooner Magic moment yesterday, could help vault this team forward, and maybe we see the best version of this team moving forward. I hope that's the case. Hawkins went full Elway, says Cameron. Youngsters won't get the reference. I get the reference. I still remember John Elway winning his first Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, Hawkins likes to go full Elway, by the way. Dude loves to go airborne, does he not? Man, apparently he's been doing that in his entire life, and he did it again yesterday on the 2-point conversion, but I'm sitting there like, yeah, nice, I'm glad you got in for 2, but geez, man, we got to do this every single week? What's our lifespan as a starting quarterback if we take hits like that? The dude's a gamer. And he's fast. You guys see the way that he ran away from those defenders on that first touchdown drive that he had? It doesn't surprise anyone that Michael Hawkins is fast, but dude is blazing. Tyler, great point. Our defense isn't elite, at least not yet. If you don't want to use the word elite, I think it's really good. I think it's really good, and it made an elite play yesterday. I know you gave up a lot of yards to Auburn. What were the final numbers here? You gave up 482 to Auburn, 338 through the air, 144 on the ground. You actually did okay against the run, I guess, right? Just 3.3 yards per rush, not perfect. I think the defense is really good. And whatever game that you win for the rest of the year is going to be because of the defense. It's going to be on the back of the defense. Like maybe the offense gets to a point where it looks a lot better than it does right now. To be honest with you, I don't foresee that. I think this is going to have to continue to be a defensive-led football team. But and that's something else is, Auburn, for as much talk about how bad Auburn's offense was going into this game, they were bad because they were turning the ball over. They weren't bad because they had, 190 total yards against Cal and Arkansas or any, they were moving the ball. They just were terrible at, not turning the ball over. Like that was their big issue. So for the defense to maybe not play its A-plus game, but get the stops late in the game that they needed and get the big turnover, it's not always going to be perfect. If you don't want to use the word elite, that's fine. That's okay. I think they're really close to it if they're not there. And that is a sign to me of an elite defense to where you're just not going to have it every single Saturday. And your offense is not helping you out right now with so many quick drives and so many 3-and-outs. But an elite defense to me is even when you don't have it, even when you don't have your best game, and still, what did they give up? I mean, 482, it's not a great number. But even when you don't have it, you're still able to rally and make the plays late when you need it. It's the play of the freaking year. A pick six the other way. You didn't just get the interception. You ran all the way back to the house for a touchdown. So I just got mad props to the defense for that. Not their best day, but they rallied and they figured it out when they needed to. Kip Lewis saved the day. Yes, he did, Brian. Yes, he did. Elway more like Sam Bradford, buddy. Yeah. Do the youngsters get that reference? 2008 in Bedlam? Pretty awesome play. Elway did it in the 90s, way before Bradford. The broadcast stated he ran a 4.48 in full pads and holding a football. Nemo, yeah, I mean, it looked like he was running faster than 4.48. He was running away from dudes. I was impressive, man. Impressive for sure. But yeah, there's a stat line from Mike Hawkins. Overall solid. Hey, and I want to highlight one guy in particular here. How about J.J. Hester? OU was out 5 wide receivers yesterday. You guys know that. They're out Deion Burks, who I think is their best player on offense, which is a major deal. You throw a true freshman in there and you take away the best playmaker that you have on offense, along with a bunch of other starters and an offensive line and a run game that's not really hitting. You needed someone to step up yesterday at wide receiver. You did. Who was it going to be? Well, it turns out it was J.J. Hester. 3 catches for 86 yards, and he had the longest catch of the night was 60 yards. He had, I think it was a 2nd and 18 where he picks up that first down, which was a massive play. Great play by Michael Hawkins to get outside the pocket. Was J.J. Hester's knee down short of the first down line? I don't know. I just know how they ruled it, and they ruled it a first down. That was a massive play, and then, of course, the 60-yarder he caught down the sideline as well. You needed someone to step up, and I know that J.J. Hester didn't show up in a great way out of the gate. Had some big drops early on in the season. But you give that kid a lot of credit, man. You had to have someone really step up at wide receiver yesterday, and J.J. Hester stepped up at wide receiver yesterday and had a massive day. He didn't have over 100 yards. He didn't even have a touchdown. But those 2 plays right there were massive to get things going for this team. Both of those 2 catches I'm just talking about, both ended up in points. J.J. Hester, man. The underrated player of the game from Saturday. Yes, Kip Lewis. Yes, Michael Hawkins. But J.J. Hester was big when you had to have him for sure. And look at that. Look at Mike Hawkins, true freshman quarterback there in the locker room. Sweet, man. It was sweet. Really cool environment. And you guys see the near end zone here. Those were where my seats were at yesterday. A lot of things impressed me about Michael Hawkins. He's really poised. Just being in the stadium, not being in there in the huddle, but we can tell body language. We can tell if the kid's confident or not. There was a drive that started at OU's own 1 or 2 yard line. That end zone right here was getting insane. And he's going up and changing the play or changing the protection, whatever. That kid looked in charge yesterday. He totally looked in charge with his first career start in front of a hostile environment. So, again, does Michael Hawkins have some things to learn? Yeah, of course he does. He can't take off and leave the pocket too early. like I think he did, maybe a little bit too much. But the kid's got poise, the kid's a gamer, and the kid ain't afraid of the moment. Like, this kid wants the spotlight. He's ready for this. Mentally, like, he's ready for this. That wasn't too much for him yesterday, as evidenced by the fact that they went out and won that football game. So, it's good. All good. Not all good, but good enough to get a win. Bring us Texas. I'm ready. Let's go. Jay, how about our Mason Thomas, the closer? Yeah, I was just about to get to that, but you're right. Like, I don't – it was the game plan a little bit too conservative by the OU defense early on. It felt like Peyton Thorne had too much time to throw, like way too many, clean pockets to throw from and a lot of things. And when you needed the pass rush, our Mason Thomas got you the pass rush. And the closer, that's what it feels like, man, because you're in a close game in the fourth quarter. Our Mason Thomas is going to find the quarterback. And back-to-back sacks late in that game on one drive on a 3rd and 4th down. Yeah, man, he is turning into the player that we all hoped he would be coming into this year. Now, would you like for it to show up a little bit maybe more in the first and second quarter? Sure, but I'm not being greedy right now. I'm not being greedy. Hey, if you could just get the consistent pass rush and the pass rush that he's given you in the close games, that can help out quite a bit. But you're absolutely right, Jay. Our Mason Thomas closed that game out very, very nicely. Kirk Bradford, the Bradford Airborne. You know what? I don't really know if this matters to anybody or not. I'm pretty sure that Kent Bradford, the father of Sam Bradford, it's his doppelganger if that wasn't him, was sitting like one row down from me yesterday. So I think that was Kent Bradford. It really looked like him. So shout out to Kent Bradford coming to the game yesterday. Tyler, what's your prediction if we get a couple of wide receivers back for the Texas game? Texas didn't look great against Mississippi State. I mean, they ended up pulling away and winning convincingly. You got to get Deion Burks back. I mean, it's going to be tough for me to entertain OU winning that game if Deion Burks isn't back. I'd give Texas the edge today, and I bet Texas is probably going to open up around a 9.5 point favorite in that game. Like, look, I've been going to that game since I was 13 years old. I've seen some crazy things happening there, both good for OU and terrible for OU. Texas is going to go into that game as not only the favorite, but a big favorite, just like last year. And I've gone to that game enough, been around this program enough, seen that game enough to know that that's a scary spot to be in. Like, when everyone thinks that you've got overwhelmingly the best roster, the best team, and it's not a matter of if you're going to win, it's, are you going to really destroy these guys? Like, that's a very dangerous spot to be in. I heard it last year. Well, Texas is going to finally score 50 in this game. They're going to put up 50 against Oklahoma, and they're going to 50-17. Everyone's picking Texas to win and picking Texas to win by a big margin. Oklahoma won the game, and they controlled the game. 2013, everyone picking OU to win that game big. 2015, everyone picking OU to win that game big. 1996. So, look, today, I think Texas is the better football team today. I don't think that they're perfect. I don't think that they've really been tested all that much. I know they went to Michigan and won. I don't think Michigan's some great football team, especially at that point in the year. So would I favor Texas today? Yeah, but this game isn't like any other on the schedule. And normally that's a cliche thing to say for a rivalry. Well, it's a rivalry game. You throw throw the record books out when these two teams play. That's actually the case for this game. So if you understand and you know, and if you've experienced the history of this game, maybe it makes you feel pretty comfortable going into the OU Texas game. Because just when one team has thought like, oh my gosh, they're going to win overwhelmingly, double digits, whatever, that's when things happen in the Cotton Bowl. I've seen it too many times in my life. So in that regard, OU's in a good spot. But they've got to get better on the offensive line. They've got to get healthy. They've got to get some wide receivers back. They've just got to do a lot. The tight ends have got to be better. What is going on with the tight ends, man? They are a net negative right now, dude. Man, they have got to figure it out at that position. Utilize the tight end more, please. Sharp has good hands. He does, but God, Brian, they have terrible penalties. And they try to utilize him, and then his partner gets a penalty yesterday. I love Seth literally, but we need a real play caller. Yeah, it ain't good. It's not good right now. And if OU loses that game yesterday, we may be having some conversations on this Sunday morning if OU is about to hire a new play caller or not, or give those duties elsewhere. There was kind of that thought maybe going into this game. Okay, let's see. I think Jackson Arnold transfers. So do I, Chief. I mean, he's not. Michael Hawkins is your quarterback now. And barring some sort of crazy injury or something completely unforeseen, that's your guy. That's your guy here moving forward, and you're going to grow with him. There's going to be some really, I think, high moments with him, like we saw yesterday. But he's still a true freshman, and we're still going to see some freshman mistakes at times. But this is your guy moving forward, man. Fans know it, coaches know it, locker room knows it, everyone knows it, and Jackson Arnold may be a great college football player, but sure, I would guess that it's probably going to be somewhere else at the end of the year. And we still got a lot of football left to play. Like, who's to say that Jackson Arnold doesn't get another opportunity? Like, Caleb Williams took over in 2021, and Spencer Rattler still came in later on in the year in the Baylor game. Like, I think Michael Hawkins is good. I think he's the best option right now at quarterback. But it's not crazy to think that we could see Jackson Arnold again at some point this year, but I don't think he's at Oklahoma next year. I would tend to agree with that. I'm undefeated in Madden and available to call brilliant plays. Well, just send your resume over, Brian, and that's your resume right there, I know. Undefeated calling plays in Madden. That may be good enough. Defensive back slow and bad technique. Yeah, not a great day for the DBs yesterday. Not great. Guy, Eli Bowen, though, is good. Is Eli Bowen the best corner that you have out there? I mean, he is special. Need Gentry Williams back. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. But, yeah, not a great day for the defensive backs. Not their best day for sure. What Cam Coleman of Auburn and some other wide receivers they have made great individual catches, but not the defensive backs play that we've seen so far this year. Best option considering the play calling. Yeah, at least he can really move around and make plays for sure. But play calling still yesterday, man. It's just, I don't know. Not great. Got to be better. And that's really where it starts is the scheme and just running right into a pile and everything. It's let him spin it, man. Like he's got an arm. He's got some accuracy. Like we clearly saw that. Like, don't be conservative with him. Like let him roll. Like let's go. Let him roll a little bit. Let him play. Bob Stoops was on the show last week and he said the same thing. Like let the kid play. And when they let him play and let him spin it a bit, he's pretty good there late in the game. And that ball that he hit to J.J. Hester down the sideline, man, what a throw that was. That was a freaking dime, man. That was a heck of a throw. And to come back, like he missed Brennan Thompson down the sideline. He had him. Had a step on him. Should have been a touchdown. So to miss Brennan Thompson on that play and throw the ball out of bounds, essentially, but then to come back with the best throw of the entire day was a heck of a throw. Heck of a throw by Michael Hawkins. What, he has the longest run and the longest pass play already? Right? And he started one game. Pretty impressive. Blaine says the quarterbacks were being left on an island, no safety help. Of course, they are going to get beat every once in a while. I feel like people forget how bad corner play used to be. I don't forget how bad corner play used to be. And when I think of bad corner play, I go back to that 2018 OU-Texas game in the Cotton Bowl when they were just throwing jump balls the entire time to OU against OU smaller corners. L.J. Humphrey and Colin Johnson, just jump balls, jump balls, jump balls. So you're right on that, Blaine. I think that's fair is not every play is going to be a PBU. Not every play is going to be an interception. There were at times where the safety has to come over and help. But I guess just got beat a few more times than maybe we're expecting. But Eli Bowen's good. Man, he's good. True freshman, man. Tennessee tried him last week, and that didn't work out. And Tennessee's one of the best offenses in college football. Jeremy says, Jesse Crittenden put on an article of PFF grades, and Bauer Sharp had the highest grade of the whole team at 85.6. Well, look, PFS does some nice things. Like, I remember was it the Tulane or the Houston game? Maybe it was the Houston game. Danny Stutzman was incredible. He was awesome. And he had like a bad PFF grade. So PFF does some nice things. It serves a purpose. It's not all the way accurate. Like, Bauer Sharp was not great yesterday. None of the tight ends were. Like, that's shocking that even with their system that they would have that. O-line was giving him more time than Jackson Arnold had. That's probably was leaving the pocket really early, but at least he can get to the outside and make some plays there. Bowen is awesome, always in the hip pocket. He's just what did Brent say about him on Monday night? He's just all over the place, man. Like not the biggest in stature, but just man, he plays big. Like test him deep one-on-one, he's got it. When it test him short, he'll go knock you down, man. He's good. He is a special player. We survived John Blake. We will survive this too. We are Oklahoma. They did win yesterday, guys. Did win yesterday. That's for sure. Oh, wait. What do you call him? A water moccasin, right? Is that what he called him on Monday? But, hey, you'll take it. You had 15 less first downs than they did. You were only 2 of 11 on third down. You were 0 of 1 on fourth down. Less than 300 yards total yards. Didn't have 175 passing yards. Didn't have 140 rushing yards. You had 10 penalties for 78 yards. But look at that turnover number right there. Turnovers always tell the story, right? They had the biggest turnover of the night. You didn't have it any. They had like 11 minutes more time of possession. Auburn dominated this game in the stat sheet. But the numbers at the top there are what really matter. And, again, give this team credit for that. Weren't great. In fact, it was very subpar for 3 quarters. Some would say bad. And they figured out a way to win. That's what you got to do in the SEC. You're not going to have it every single week. That was a loud, intimidating crowd at Auburn, and they figured out a way. First ever SEC win. Pretty cool. Rub penalty on Roberts was horse crap. Yeah, he got a holding call, I think, later on in the game too, right? On a run play. Not great day by the tight ends. All right. To those of you that were in Auburn, Alabama yesterday or watching on television, it was fun. It was a good time. I still love this a lot from a Texas fan. Sooner freaking Magic. Mike Hawkins in the locker room. And then J.J. Hester, man. J.J. Hester. What a day it was. Auburn does have a fantastic stadium. Guys, their tailgating is insane. Nice. Didn't have one negative comment the entire day. Super nice people. Welcome to Auburn. The whole day. I never ran into one bad person or mean fan. Like, I'm cool with Auburn, man. Bama will skull drag us if we don't improve. Jeez, that freshman wide receiver they have, Ryan Williams, he's 17 years old. He's good, man. Bama is good, that's for sure. Bama's really good, and I bet they're the number 1 team coming up next week. But you got a bye week. You got a chance to heal up, recover. Much needed bye week, that's for sure. Appreciate you guys joining me on a Sunday afternoon. Going to do another live softball show coming up next week, so be sure to join me for that. The Battle Series is starting this coming week. Let's go, the Battle Series. We get to see this team in person for the first time. Cannot wait. All right, I will talk to you soon. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, but as always, appreciate all the interaction. Talk to you soon.